Ever pondered on the question, why does the Korean Peninsula remain divided? Why, after more than 70 years since the outbreak of the Korean War, do North and South Korea still stand as two separate entities, glaring at each other across a heavily fortified border? Our journey begins in the late 1940s, a time when the world was still reeling from the aftermath of the Second World War. Korea, which had been under Japanese rule for 35 years, was suddenly free, but the joy of liberation was short-lived. The division of the Korean Peninsula into two zones, North and South, by the United States and Soviet Union, set the stage for a conflict that would shape the destiny of the two Koreas. In the North, Kim Il-sung, backed by the Soviet Union, established a communist regime, while in the South, Syngman Rhee, supported by the United States, set up a capitalist government. Tensions between the two governments escalated, leading to border skirmishes and clashes. This tension reached a boiling point when, in June of 1950, North Korea, buoyed by the promise of Soviet support, launched a full-scale invasion of the South. The Korean War, as we now know it, lasted for 3 brutal years. It saw the involvement of the United Nations, led by the United States, in support of South Korea and China in support of North Korea. The war ended in a stalemate, with an armistice signed in July 1953, but not before it had claimed the lives of millions of soldiers and civilians. Yet the armistice was not a peace treaty, it was merely a ceasefire. Technically, North and South Korea remain at war to this day, separated by a 4-kilometer-wide band of land known as the Demilitarized Zone. Over the decades, this border has been the scene of numerous incidents and confrontations, reflecting the enduring hostility between the two Koreas. In the years since the armistice, North Korea, under the leadership of 3 generations of the Kim family, has pursued a policy of military self-reliance, or Songun. This has led to the development of a substantial military arsenal, including nuclear weapons and a resilient economy that, despite international sanctions, has managed to sustain the regime. Meanwhile, South Korea has transformed itself from a war-ravaged nation into one of the world's top economies, a testament to the resilience and determination of its people. Yet the threat from the North remains a constant reality, a reminder of a war that never truly ended. In sum, the history of war between North and South Korea is a tale of a nation divided, a war that has not officially ended, and two countries that, despite sharing a common heritage, have taken vastly different paths. It's a tale of a conflict that, more than 70 years on, continues to shape the destiny of the Korean Peninsula. This is the legacy of the Korean War, a legacy that remains as relevant today as it was in the early 1950s,